347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in to BallroomSceneRadio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation. You already know who it is. It's your boy Izzy Infinity. Izzy Stars Infinity. That's right. Get into it. We have a wonderful show. We have David Ultima in the building today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be off the hook. Please, girls, I'm going to play a little bit of beats for y'all. Let's keep it cute tonight. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Don't go nowhere, all right?
Good morning, everyone. It's Melissa calling out of Largo, Florida, and you are tuned into my favorite radio station, The Morning Kiki. I love it.
Scans to be here. Don't forget 347-709-0655 is the number now. We have David Ultima coming up soon. Don't forget. It's your boy Izzy Infinity. Tune in. BallroomSceneRadio.com is the hottest station on the internet nation. We'll see you there.
for me. Walk for me, 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 walk for me. Push me up in pumps.
This is your DJ in the mix.
Yes, it's your boy Izzy Infinity. Don't forget you tune into BallingCradio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation. 347-709-0655. Hit us up. Don't forget we got David Ultima, icon David Ultima, coming up soon. It's an exclusive interview y'all don't want to miss. Trust me, he is spilling the tea on BallingCradio.com.
Non-stop music.
I'm over the straight boys trying to work the 8 hits for services. You want a bump? Well, there's one simple rule. Now, bump later. You want a bump? Bump between my legs. Flip this. Get over it. Someone stole my glasses. Someone borrowed my glasses. Someone stole my glasses. Someone borrowed my glasses. I want my glasses back. I found my glasses. I heard you're putting out your own cologne. It must smell like a straight boy coming out the closet. Straight? Oh yeah, you're straight. Straight to the ferry going to Fire Island, that is. Straight to West Side Highway. Straight to Wagon Wheel Bar on Saturday night. Child, you remind me of your father when you say that. Get over it. Straight. Straight. You're straight? Straight. You're straight? Straight. Oh, darling. You're straight? Cupcake. You're straight? Yeah, straight. So is spaghetti until you boil it.
Good morning. You are now tuned into the Morning Kiki Show, and it is the Naughty Bastard himself. Don't forget, that number is 347-709-0655. You are now tuned.
Some hip house music. Then scream, oh yeah, if you choose it. Let the bass roll, don't lose it. If it's not my song, then refuse it. Cause I'm here to rock the mic on time. Cause it took some time to write this rhyme. But nevertheless, troopers, I'm finished. Yo, and now you're gonna get it. Here I am. So throw up your hands and wave them in the air. From side to side, keep moving. Stay in step and I'ma keep on grooving to this song that you waited and waited and waited to come along. And now it's here, so you can start cheering. That's what I'm used to hearing. Everybody having a good time while I'm giving you an earful of rhymes. Watching me dance and shake it. Most girls in the world can't take it. Me fake it, you must be crazy. Intimidation, it don't even faze me. You're an MC, you look kind of lazy. Say you can beat me, now that might amaze me. Or the next man, if you really can. Rock the beat without a band and make the girls all sweaty and steamy. Cause that's how it is every time they see me. The DJ, F-A-S-T-E-double-D-I-E. Now let's see if I can make you dance. Put you in a trance. I never go backwards, I only advance. To keep you moving and keep you shaking. On the MIC, I don't fake and say we grinds on a steady track. So if you can't hang, just step the hell back and let me progress and do my best to give you more. So never settle for less or nothing, imitation or phony. Cause I'm the only real macaroni. So keep on moving and grooving and swinging. Party people, there's no time for playing. So I'ma keep dancing and also rapping. Cause you know damn well it's happening. It's a funky fresh style out the box. And it's rising straight to the top. Non-stop like a runaway train. Even suckers behind while I'm doing my thing. On the mic just like you like it. It's hype because I hype it. And you can always say that you saw. Get raw. So here we go again, yo, let's go.
This is Dave Line calling out of Philadelphia. And truly with understood all this speed on the morning CT. Coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benny Ninja.
Today's show is sponsored by RomoDJ.com, SBSDesigns.com, Open Bar Music, Azúcar Digital Distribution, Media Services, NYC.com. Republic Music, DiamondFuse.com, RiseToGrace.com, and ManhattanScreenPrint.com. Enjoy the show. 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 Enjoy the show.
DJ Hip Hop exclusive.
This is Father Benny Ninja, and I would like to say thank you to everyone who has showed their support in this time of need. It is greatly appreciated, and it continues to lift my spirits and help on the road to recovery and wellness, as I do plan on coming back in true ninja fashion. But in the meantime, the story must continue. Continues to lift my spirits. I do plan on coming back. This is Father Benny Ninja, and I would like to say thank you to everyone who has showed their support in this time of need. It is greatly appreciated, and it continues to lift my spirits and help on the road to recovery and wellness, as I do plan on coming back in true ninja fashion. This is Father Benny Ninja, and I would like to say thank you. I do plan on coming back in true ninja fashion. This is Father Benny Ninja, and I would like to say thank you.
To the sounds of Chill Lover Radio.
In the mix.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Drag queens, take your mark. The dance floor is now open. Drag queens, take your mark. The dance floor is now open. Drag queens, take your mark. The dance floor is now Drag queens, take your mark. The dance floor is now open.
Good morning, everyone. It's Melissa calling out of Largo, Florida, and you are tuned into my favorite radio station, The Morning Kiki. I love it.
Work this pussy, 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 work this pussy. Oh, shucks. Honey, let me tell you something. Now they call me an Aquarius. And you know what that means? That means that no man in the world can let go of this Aquarius. You dig where I'm coming from, baby? So like you see, I got something here that you don't ever want to turn down. Don't you want the more? Don't you want the more? Don't you want the more?
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, I got the iconic David Ultra coming up soon. Don't change that dial. BallsingRadio.com is the hottest station on the internet nation. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Hit us up live on the air. Izzy Infinity out.
I'm surprised to see how sweet accessible. Remember the good times, don't you want some more? It's not a perfect love, but I'll defend it. 'Cause I believe in what God intended. We got love to go away. Not over between you and me. It's not over. No more to be free. What has been joined by
Hey everyone, this is Pioneer Lifetime Achiever Icon Kevin Army, and you are now tuned in to the Everyday Party Ballroom Scene
Stream around the planet on the World Wide Web.
boy, it's the morning boner.
And the Nazi bastard himself. And don't forget that number is 347-709-0655.
Don't forget, hit us up, everydaypartynetwork.com. Join us and interact with us live.
Because every day is a party.
All right. Y'all already know what time it is. I got the iconic David Ultima coming up in about like 3 minutes. Y'all ready? He's gonna spill all the tea from the 70s ballroom scene till now. Y'all don't want to miss this exclusive interview. I will be right back. Don't forget 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. And I want to hook you up like this. I'm Izzy Stars. And before we take it there, I just want y'all to know real quick, I want to give a special shout out to Kevin, Ultra Omni in the house of Ultra Omni. They turned it out in New York City, and they're posting pictures all over Facebook from the Ultra Omni ball. I will be getting Kevin to talk about the aftermath about the ball, no shade. We definitely love Kevin and the Omnis. Once again, 347-709-0655 is the number to dial.
Music.
Oh yes, honey. Due to the fact that her thighs spread just like Gonna walk right through that door like before. High heels on the hardwood floor. They all coming back for more. Back for more. Hit it up and do it right this time. Ass so fine. Never gonna stop till the beat is mine. Come round if you're so inclined. Let's be Jellico Jam, don't shake. Let's be Jellico Jam, don't shake. Let's be Jellico Jam, don't shake. Spread that jelly, spread it good. Hit it by the head, kiss my grip. Your mama's in the kitchen, but the oven on the fridge. Your daddy's in jail, raising hell. And your sister on the corner selling.
Dog Queen Diva, let me see y'all work y'all Peter. Hot off the heater, making your cheese up. Your cheese up. When you hit the beat up, working your feet up. Jumping all around like you're catching a seizure. Black Kiki, RuPaul and Frida. Yes, you better believe us. Jam don't shake. Jam don't shake. Jam don't shake.
Strawberry jelly, tastes so good.
Must be Jellico
Jam don't shake.
Must be Jellico
Jam don't shake.
Must be Jellico
Jam don't shake. Spread that jelly, spread it good. Hit it by the head.
Kiss my dome.
Your mama's in the kitchen,
to make your work go strong.
Your daddy's in jail,
come on,
raising hell. And your sister on the corner selling. Oh yes, honey. Watch me shake. Yeah, all the brothers wanna eat this cake. Let me show you how to instigate. Let me hear your Jimmy choose. Pay my dues. Look at John, what you gonna do? Mama, no low blindness do.
This is the girl I was telling you about, boss. Oh, really? What's your name?
My name Cupcake.
Where my girls go, gon' be a good show. Where my girls go, gon' be a good show. Where my girls go, gon' be a good show. You go, me,
What y'all all been waiting for? 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. I have the iconic David Ebony Extravaganza Ultima in the building. Say what's up, David.
What's up, fellas? How you doing, baby? What's going on, world? How's everybody?
Hi. Wow, it's great to hear you. You're calling out of New York City, right?
I'm calling from Manhattan and Barrio, baby. And Barrio.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the iconic David Ultima.
Shout out to New York.
Yes, I have Naughty Bastard in the building. He's also going to be co-hosting the show with us.
Hi.
Hello, what's going on, fellas?
Oh, not much.
David, please, let's get into what everybody wants to know. Let's start off with the beginning. You're in New York City. You've been in the ballroom scene since, what, 1970?
1971 was my first ball that I won, but I won in 1970. And back in those days, the balls was once every 6 months.
Wow. And why was that? Why was it like every 6 months?
Oh, because you see, it wasn't like it used to be now. Every week, every other day. It was every 6 months. It was very underground, and the balls were being held on 115th Street in 5th Avenue at a place called the Underground, the Staircase. It's right now a complex. Yes, and again, the ball, like I said, back those days, it was only $5 to go to the balls, and the ball started at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh, child.
What's the tea behind that? The whole 6 o'clock in the morning, really?
That was like really early.
Yes, it was 6 o'clock in the morning because when they would have the balls, they would usually do parties. The parties would start at 12. The kids would come in and dance, play music, and just have a good time. But the actual ball would start at 6 o'clock.
Right.
That's different from today.
I remember going, because I would go to a club. You know, I'm sure you guys heard of a club called Better Days and stuff like that.
Oh, yes, definitely. Those are legendary.
We would go to the Better Days and party and hang out till like about 4 o'clock. Because the club would close at 4. I would literally come home at 4 o'clock, change, take a shower. My mother would get up and say, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going out." She said, "It's 4 o'clock in the morning." I said, "Yeah, it's just, are you crazy?" I said, "No." And I would live, because I lived in the project on 105th and 1st Avenue called East River, and I would go over to 115th Street and go to the ball, and the ball would start at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. That's crazy. That's so different. That's amazing, though.
Yeah, and not only that, back then, they only had 5 to 6 butch queen categories. All the categories were femme queen categories.
I heard about that. Tell me. Okay,
yes.
You've been walking ball since 1971. You know the whole history from the beginning. What was the actual first butch queen category?
Okay, the first butch queen categories they used to have face, runway, models, body, Vogue, stuff like that. But it wasn't like it was today. Let's say if there were 20 to 25 categories, there was only 5 to 6 that were butch queens. The rest were all femme queens. It was about the femme queens back in the day. It wasn't about the butch queens.
Wasn't the ballroom scene started off as a drag pageant back in the 60s?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm telling you. It was all about the drag queens. They had very few butch queen categories. It was all about drag pageants. It was about the girls making their own outfits, feathers, beads, and rhinestones. It was about all the beauties back in the days, Mara, Nicole, these girls that would come to the ball and they would tear the balls apart because it was all about drag. It wasn't butch queens. It changed later in time. It actually reversed.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because Yeah, right now it's like mostly book queens and very few drag queens.
It's so different. How did we get so different from the ballroom scene back in the day?
Well, because remember, back in the days, it was about creativity. It was about seeing these drag queens making their own costumes. There was no things about all these labels and labels and labels. There was none of that. These girls would make the headpieces and the back pieces that would reach to the ceiling.
It was more
that these girls would, yes, it's very, very like going to like Brazil. You know how the girls wear these back pieces in Las Vegas with these headpieces that were to die for? Remember, mostly Ava Dorian, Pepper, they would make their costumes at home. They would sit home for hours and days and prepare costumes to come to the balls because it was about creativity. It was about being able to make your costumes. It's not like it is today. You don't see the costumes and stuff anymore.
I know, it's such a shame that the magic is gone from the ballroom scene. I had a previous interview with Letitia Revlon. I had a previous interview with Tyra A. Ross, Mother La Perla. And, you know, one of the things that was significant in each other's interviews was that the magic was gone from the ballroom scene.
A lot of that is gone because right now it's all about, you know, you see, you know, 10, 20, 30 book queen categories, and then you only see a couple of the drag queen categories. It's not like it used to be. You know, it was all these beauties coming out of nowhere, and mind you, when we would leave the ballroom scene, we would leave the ball like about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and right across the street used to be a church. And believe me when I tell you, those church people used to gag. Imagine a church coming out of church at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you see these beautiful drag queens coming out at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
Definitely.
They can't take it.
Couldn't take it. They was gagging at some. They were gagging. Mind you, these are girls who are painting for all this makeup and stuff. It's, you know, it's dark in the place. It's not like it used to be. Now you're coming out 2 o'clock in the afternoon with all this makeup on, headpieces, back pieces, trophies. And they were like, wow, they would be shocked at what they used to see.
You know, speaking about Pepper, LaBeija, and Dorian Corey, and Paris Dupree, give us a little bit of rundown on who Pepper, LaBeija, Dorian Corey, and Paris Dupree were, and how they came into play with you in the ball team.
Okay, now Pepper and Dorian, they were always like, they were the main ballroom people. They used to always wear grand pies. And a lot of times it was called do your own thing. And that's when these people would come with headpieces that would touch the ceiling, and they would have to build back pieces to put them on their backs just to come. My first ball that really caught my eye was I saw Pepper being carried on a throne with guys, and she was coming as Cleopatra. And they literally would they picked her up, and I was like amazed that I saw her. And she actually had her 2 children with her. They were like 1 or 2 years old. And she was dressed in all these beautiful things. And she would have the guys and muscles carry her down the block just to come into the ballroom. That's the kind of, you know, grand prize that she used to see back in the day.
That's an entrance, honey.
Yeah.
Entrance, yes. They would literally lift her up. And she had 4 people, you know, all dressed in like the kills and the rolling looks, and she would have one come out and throw coins on the floor and throw fire, and then they would carry her in the throne. And I even have pictures of some of this stuff. I have pictures of some of it. Back in the days, remember those cameras? They used to have like a little oh my God, I don't even have those things. Those cameras that they look like a Kodak camera. I actually took pictures of some of this stuff.
Yes.
Of this, it used to be called the Underground Staircase.
The legendary Underground Staircase.
On 115th Street and 5th Avenue.
I know that's right.
You better work. And you know, I'm kind of gagging after hearing about that Pepper LaBeija thing, because if you think about it, you look around, you see everybody is like duplicating that entrance now.
Yes.
And that just shows how iconic the ballroom scene is.
And that movie. Yes. Let's go on to Dory and Corey of Paris the Free.
Now, Dory and Corey was another one. She was, like I said, drag queen. She was about a good maybe 6'4", 6'5". She was really tall. She was black, but she was very pale, light skinned. And she would make these fantastic coats and headpieces. She would give you very Las Vegas showgirl. That was her thing. That was her thing. And its categories was like called do your own thing. And when they say do your own thing, these girls would come out of boxes and headpieces that we would have to put on her back just so that she could come through. Mind you, she's that big, and it used to be Dory. She would walk against, Chipper from New Jersey, Pepper, Paris. Those kids would come and they would make the outfits. Paris one time made a gown out of nothing but total beads, where she would sit there and bead the entire gown one by one by one by one by one.
Wow, talented, very amazing. That is
nothing but talented. And let me tell you, baby. Yeah, and I have pictures that would make you gag of some of this stuff of back in the days from the Crystal Ballroom. Now, the Crystal Ballroom was a ballroom that came a little bit later that was on 125th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue.
David, you just took me back. I haven't heard about the Crystal Ballroom.
Yes, I have pictures from the Crystal Ballroom. The Paris. Yes.
When you log on to ballroomradio.com, which I'll send you the link, please share a couple pictures of these times, so that way people, the ballroom scene, new kids, the old generation, people can appreciate stuff like this.
Well, before I do that, I have to tell you, I'm getting ready to write a book.
What?
And most of these pictures are going to be in that book. Yes, I'm working on putting a book together that is going to be a book that's going to make you kids gag. So I really can't share some of those pictures because those pictures are going to be in this book that is going to make you holler.
You know what? You got me excited. I think everybody is going to be excited. I think this is going to be the one.
Yes, and trust me when I tell you, I got pictures of back in the days of Dory and Corey, Avis and Travis. I mean, they used to be, oh my God, they used to be a ball in New Jersey. They used to do once a year. It was called Do Your Own Thing. And let me tell you, grand prize was only $500, and the costumes were worth thousands of dollars. Not like it was today.
Well, Ballroom Radio is throwing our first ball in Flamingo here in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's a new city in Florida. That's right.
Please let me know. You know what? I would love to assist you and help you do this ball.
I will take that into consideration. Definitely. I appreciate that. Again, David Ultima.
Yes.
Always turning it out. I wanted to let you know that it's an exotic tropical resort, hotels, huge heated pool. There's 4 bars, 4 clubs, venues, everything. It's amazing. Shout out to Flamingo Resort and Hotels. But one of the categories that I'm having, well, it's called Bringing Back the Magic Ball. So get into that.
Okay.
And one of the categories that I'm actually having is Do Your Own Thing.
Do your own thing. Now remember, it should be do your own thing. Feathers, beads, and rhinestones.
Oh, yes, bring it back. Yes, David,
Bring it back in the days, yes.
We're going to talk about that. But real quick, there's a little bit of tea. I'm sorry I have to take it there, but there's a little bit of tea about Dory and Corey.
Ooh.
You know,
Yes,
I was Googling,
about that,
when I was preparing myself for this interview, I came across
You're
Dory.
talking about Mummy Dearest?
Yes, Mummy Dearest, can we please finally get the tea? Because everyone keeps giving us a different story, and we want to know the real official, down to the bottom.
Now, the real version of Dory and Corey, what happened was, of course, you know, these girls would go out and bring dates home. You know, back in the days, it was rough. Now, what happened with this person was Dory and Corey brought this date home, and it was in 1968. The child tried to rob Dory and Corey, and she was able to take the gun away from him, and she turned it out. The reason why she didn't report it to the police, because if she would have reported to the police, back in those days, you know, she would have went to jail for murder. Because one, she was a drag queen. Two, back in the days, it was that one. And you know what?
They would have went
that
in
man,
because they was not
they
accepted.
would have went in there, and she would have went to jail. This guy was missing since 1968.
Oh, my dear. Wow.
And what happened was she put the guy in plastic bags. She mummified him with tons of baking soda. They showed him how to mummify. And she put the guy in one of those chests. And she kept the body with her.
One of those original antique traveling chests. You know which ones I'm talking about?
One of those old antique traveling chests that we used to play cards on.
Wow.
Dorian.
And she had to do this. She had to do this because if she would have reported this, she would have went to jail. You know she would have went to jail.
Yes, because back then it wasn't, you know, the whole revolution about Stonewall and everything. Things weren't being accepted.
Exactly. It wasn't like it is today. It was very different. We have to be careful going to the balls. We have to be careful in the street. It's not like it is today. The kids walk around holding hands in Harlem. Can you imagine us holding hands in Harlem in 1975? We would have got lynched. The girls had to be real. They had to be beautiful. Because if they walked the street looking like they walk today, they would have got stoned. They would have got shot. They would have got beat down.
Their life would have been in
Not today, because now today you can walk the streets of Harlem and the girls are walking around with beards and wigs and people are paying them no mind.
So
because it's very well accepted.
So what happened? How did all of this come out? How did this, you know, after you know, she did this and she mummified him? How did this?
Okay, what happened was Lois, who was in Paris, is burning, started selling her garments. Lois would sell her garments. When Doreen died, the kids wanted to buy her fur coats, wanted to buy her garments, and Lois went into the trunk, and when she opened up the trunk and she opened up the trunk, the body fell out. And that's when she called the police, and that's when they did the investigation. But this is when Dory and Corey had already died. Yes, that's how they found the mummy. That's what they called it. And it was around the time when the movie came out, Mommy Dearest.
Yes.
And that's why it came out as Mummy Dearest.
Mummy Dearest.
That's how the title became Mummy Dearest, yes.
Wow. That is
And she would literally take that body, and she moved, she would take the body with her, because you and I both know there's no way you can get rid of a body today.
Ooh, you know what?
You can't get rid of a body.
But I didn't even think of that. You know, I thought that she must have been working fiercely to pay her coin so she don't get evicted so she could hide the body, because that's what I really
No, she did her thing as a regular person. And when she would move from one apartment to another, she would take the body with her.
And ladies and gentlemen, here is the true honest story of Mummy Dearest.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into what the interview is really going to be about. I want to talk about first, before we get into your whole bio, when was Ballroom Scene started?
Well, for me, the ballroom scene started, like I said, in 1971. That's when I first walked my first ball, and I had one face, I had one model's body, and I won second place runway, and I got like 3 trophies and $150. Now, 3 trophies and $150 back in 1971, that's a lot of money.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of money back in those days.
Yes, it was. Back in those days, it was.
And where did this happen?
It happened in the underground staircase on 115th Street and 5th Avenue.
Now, a lot of people don't actually ask this question, but it was brought up to my attention. Why was the ballroom scene started?
Why? Okay, it was an underground thing. Let me tell you. The ballroom started because they didn't get the love at home that the kids felt back in the day. Remember coming out in 1971, 72, wasn't really accepted at home. It wasn't accepted in the street. But when you go to the ball, regardless if you were beautiful, regardless if you was fat, regardless whatever, you was loved. The ballroom scene was loved. You can go to and speak to the people about your problems. My mentor was Avis Gonzalez. Of course, I couldn't talk to my family about my issues of coming out being gay because, I was really worried that, here I am, a Puerto Rican man coming out to my family back in the days. I was worried about getting lynched also, but I would be able to talk to Dorian and Corey. That's how you got a mother and father of a house, because they would come to the mother and father and talk to them, and these kids needed that guidance. They needed to talk to somebody other than your real parents, because back in the days, if they found that you were gay, a lot of families were putting the kids out at 12 and 13 years old when they found out they were gay, because they didn't want to be bothered. So they would go to a ball house to talk about their issues, to talk about their problems, to talk about their homosexuality, and to talk about, you needed somebody to talk to, or else you would have to have a psychiatrist. You would go crazy.
Wow.
And that's how you got a mother and father. You got mother, father, brothers, sisters. You needed that comfort. You needed, when you go to the ballroom, you was accepted. That's how the houses became. You was accepted. You was loved regardless of who you was.
So would you say that the ballroom scene was actually the first place created, the first non-profit organization created for, the coming out process of LGBT community and the children?
The first non-profit, you mean?
Well, in the beginning it was non-profit, right?
No, of course it was a profit thing. It was always a profit. That was $5 to get it. Now, the first non-profit, God bless his soul, was Albert, who started the House of Latex.
Wow. Yes.
He started the House of Latex.
Actually, that's my first house. Albert is the one who introduced me to the ballroom.
Yes, he started the House of Latex, and he started, that's how the non-profit thing come around, because he would come to the balls and pull out a table and start, hand out condoms to the kids and start educating the kids on the viruses that was going out there. And he started the Latex. He actually started the non-profit with the GMHC.
Wow, that's right. Shout out to Albert, Latex EVC.
Albert, exactly. He was the one who started that. He started he was the first one to do a non-profit ball at Roseland.
Wow. Now, you know what I wanted to get into real quick? David Ebony Extravaganza Ultima. How did this all come together?
As what? What he asked, as what came together?
The Ebonies, then the Extravaganza.
Okay, now what happened was, when I went to my first ball, when you would walk a ball, now they call it 007. I didn't belong to a house. I would go to a ball, my friend Tony, overness. We called Seahag, because he lived in a project on 15. We were friends. I would just go to a ball. And that's how I met. When I won Erskine Christian, I'm telling you, we want you to be a Christian. That lasted 2 weeks. But I used to hang out with Richard, Mother House of Ebony, and Larry Prater, the Father House. And then I said, those are my good buddies. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be a Christian no more. I want to be an Ebony. So I became an Ebony. And that's when the House of Ebony started reigning. We reigned for years as an Ebony. I was an Ebony for years, many years. And then I wanted to become a father of the house, but I couldn't become a father of the house because Larry was the father of the house of Ebony. And when the extravaganza kids started, they wanted to start mainly Hispanic house, and they kept saying, "David, you like about the only Puerto Rican walking, and you got all these Ebonies, and we want you to be the father." And I became friends with Angie. Now, I wasn't the original father of the house. They had this kid named Michael, but Michael only lasted about 2 to 3 weeks. And the original father was Hector. The real Hector, him and I were good friends, right? Hector and I were good friends. Hector used to dance hustle back in the days of Better Days, and we became friends. That's right. Remember, let me tell you, I won Dance Fever in 1983 for Hustle. I won Hustle in 1983. I won the Hustle on Dance Fever. So I used to do a lot of dancing back in the day. But Angie and I became friends. And when
Did you say Dance Fever?
I won Dance Fever in 1983 with Danny Cario. I even have the footage of that when I danced on TV. I was one of the first ballroom kids to ever bring it to national television.
That's amazing.
Remember, Dance Fever was big back in those days.
Yes, it was.
And I even have the clipping of me dancing when I won. I have that clipping.
Oh, we're going to have to talk about
I have that video.
Definitely. You got to post this.
Okay, now that's how I was, Ebony for many years. And when I left, Danny and Angie and I became friends. We want you to be the father. So I said, okay, I would. I've always wanted to be a father house, and I became the father of the House of Extravaganza about 85, and our first ball was in 1986 at the Elks Lodge that used to be on 129th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue.
The Elks Lodge, yes. Shout out to the Elks Lodge. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, I was on 129th Street, and that's when I became the father of the House of Extravaganza. And we were one of the first houses before Magnifique, because there was a House of Magnifique that came out, but it wasn't as strong as the Extravaganzas. Extravaganzas had beauties that were untold. They would have realness, they would have face, and back in those days, you might have had, let's say, 15, 20 houses that were mostly black, and then here we go with the mostly only Hispanic house, Extravaganzas. And then you would have 15 or 20 beauty extravaganzas walking against the children. Back in those days, Angie ran the fence rings and I ran the between.
Wow. Can I ask you a question? What?
Yeah.
Who started first all-black house?
Well, the houses were way back before. Now, I can't say who started it, but I think it was back in the 50s and stuff like that. You had the LaBeijas, you had the Pendavises, you had those houses from way back. I really can't tell you who started the first house, and I'm sure it was back in the 40s and 50s, but it came into New York, started being seen bigger in the 60s and 70s. That's when I came into the scene. But like I said, it was once every 6 months. Right. It wasn't like it is today. You're a ball this week and there's a ball next week.
You mean?
Yes, there's a ball here, and it was mainly, you never had a ball in D.C. You didn't have balls in California and all these countries like you have now down south. It was mainly a lot, what I knew of was mainly Harlem.
And how did the Ultima come into play?
Well, Ultima, I decided I wanted to start my own. I decided I want to leave the house of extravagance and start my own. I started my own house, and I started the house of Ultima. Ultima, and that's how it became a name. I brought up the name myself, and I said, you know what, I'm going to branch off now and start my own house. And my mother the mother of my house used to be Roma. Boo Boo was one of the first girls that I brought into the house of extravagance. I used to walk face. And she was a babe. She was a beauty, man. I'm not talking about Boo Boo Bank. I'm talking about Boo Boo Roma of extravagance. She's a woman. She's not a track. She's a woman. She is one of the most beautiful women. She was an Ebony with me, and then she left with me, and she also became extravaganza for a little while, and then she left, and we became an Ultima. And she was the mother of the house, and she's right now, she doesn't walk ballrooms anymore. She's a dental hygienist. She has her own business, but she was a stunning, beautiful woman. Back in the day, they had women categories, a lot of female categories, and Roma used to walk face, and when I brought up, my God, she destroyed. She was also Hispanic, Puerto Rican, and she destroyed the ballroom scene.
What were some of the original houses back in the 70s in your time when you came out?
When I saw it was like Christian, La Beja, and Davis. Those are the houses, the House of Wong, the Duchess of Wong. Those are the houses that were back in the days. Now, houses started using names like St. Laurent, and started using designers' names, Chanel later on in the industry to use their name. And I'm gonna give you a funny story that's gonna make you gag. Yeah. The actual Chanel people one time came to R.R. Chanel and stopped his ball at the Mark Ballroom and told him if he continues to use the Chanel that he would get sued to the authorities. Because he would use the house of Chanel with the same symbol as Chanel and Chanel this, and they literally sent a representative to the ballroom and told him if he does not stop it and change that he would get sued.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, because people started using names, like now they got Mrs. Wahis and started all these other things. So, some people didn't go for it. Chanel wasn't having it. So, extravaganza made up their own thing. The Ebony's made their own name, but they were mostly black house. And that's Ebony's right now is one of the biggest houses out. They have houses. Ebony's one of the biggest, strongest houses right now out.
Wow, you seriously made me gag with that one. You wasn't lying. David, what are some of the original categories? Some of your favorite ones?
Okay, you had the original categories like faith. You had body. You had realness. You had femme queen realness. You had femme queen vogue. You had some categories like leather versus suede. You had leather versus suede. You had runway. Categories like that. You didn't have most of the categories that are today. Executive realness.
Yes. That's a good category.
Business, baby. Business.
What is nostalgia? For those who don't know.
Nostalgia that was one of my categories I used to love to wear. Nostalgia was bringing it back in the days, and it was like coming like Charlie Chaplin, where you would have to wear the tuxedos, what you call those shoes with the white front tips, I forgot you call those shoes. I used to have a pair of those. where you had a shoe that would be covered with the white tips and the tuxedos with the top hats and the canes and coming back like Elliot Ness and stuff like that. That was nostalgia.
Yes. Very elegant and classy.
Yes. Back in those days, that was nostalgia. Bringing it back like that, where the girls would have to look like Marilyn Monroe and all that kind of stuff.
So, would you agree? Like, because we had a question and we've been asking it, throughout a series of interviews in the past on the show. What is a crossbreed, and what do you consider a crossbreed? A lot of people are saying in the ballroom scene a crossbreed is, a mix where you have a person that's been in a couple of houses, and some of them still represent each house, or some of them just graduated through different houses and still carry the name. And some of us tell us that they're actually working together, and that's why they carry.
Well, some people carry their names together. Some people, I wouldn't call it a crossbreed. I would call it as graduating from one to another. My thing was I graduated. Every time I left the house, I became one part, and it was like getting a job. When you graduated from one job, you got more pay because the next job you got was a better, higher rank. You understand what I'm saying? When I became a Christian, I was just a Christian. When I became an Ebony, I was just an Ebony. When I left the Ebony, I became the father of the house of extravaganza. But then when I came to the father of the house of extravaganza, I started my own house, the house of Ultima. So it was like climbing the ladder. When you start a business, you start at the bottom, and then you work your way up.
Right.
And even in businesses today, some people come in like lawyers. They'll come in as an intern, and then from an intern they become just a plain lawyer, and before you know it, they're breaking up to start their own business. Same thing. Same rules apply.
I see what you're saying. All right, now let's get into something about the ball scene that everybody's been dying to get everyone's opinion on. How many balls must you complete in order to truly become or considered a legend or legendary or iconic?
Well, you see, now that's an issue that really messes with me. Because you walk and win 2 or 3 categories, you shouldn't become a legend or an icon. A legend or an icon, a person who just robbed and rents and turns it out in most categories. When you go to one city, they recognize you. Well, this man turned it out over here. This man turned it out, and it's a constant turning out. Constant turn. Not you just win 1 or 2 little trophies at some ball. And when you do win these trophies, they should be at major balls. And I'm not talking about little mini balls back in little Escalitas on Monday or Tuesday. I'm talking about a major function like in a world ball. When you go to the world ball and you win and you turn it and you eat it up, and then you should be an icon. And when you put in the Hall of Fame, then you're recognized. And I'll be honest with you, I'm one of the first males, and I'm glad to say a Hispanic male, that won every grand prize from 1989 to 1990. That should be called, that's my icon status. I won every grand prize there was. I said, I'm going to win. If there's a ball, I'm going to go win grand prize, and I was determined to win every grand prize. So for 1 year straight, I won every grand prize.
That part.
And now the only one who ever did that in history right now is Andre Mizrahi.
Shout out to Andre Mizrahi and House of Mizrahi, by the way.
Yeah, he's the only one who did that. I was the first one who ever did that, and I said I'm going to win every grand prize. If there was a ball in Harlem, I would go, I won grand. If there was a Harlem DC, I won grand. If there was a ball in Brooklyn, I won grand. I would only won grand prize. For that 1 year, I won every grand prize.
Yes. That's amazing. You're amazing.
That's an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Accomplishment.
David, what are 5 tips that you can give out to the listeners to succeed in the ballroom scene?
First of all, don't give up. There was many times that I would get chopped, and that made me even stronger. Don't give up. Continue going on, because when they chop you, that means somebody couldn't take you, somebody couldn't go. you go back and you come back again and be strong and come back and tear it up. Another thing, take some of this knowledge that you've learned from the ballroom scene, take it to the real world. If you can be a runway model in the ballroom scene, you can be a runway model in the real world. If you're a beauty in your own ballroom scene, you can be a beauty in the real world. If you can be an executive in the ballroom scene, you can be an executive in the real world. And a lot of kids have done that. A lot of kids have left the ballroom scene, become stylists, become makeup artists, become dancers, become other things that we don't hear about today, that have been taking their knowledge. I've been taking the knowledge of design that Dorian, Avis, and Pepper that taught me, and I started doing some of my own beadwork, some of beading my own gowns. Do you know I beaded the gown for Laura Bush that she wore 6 years ago when she met Michael for that dinner?
Wow.
Do you remember that gown that she wore that she had that dinner? It was like a burgundy gown. Do you know Oscar de Lorenzo called me personally because I used to do beading for some of these gowns. I worked for an Indian company called A&K International, and they hired me for my beading talent. And they actually asked me to do and hand bead that gown because she needed it done in 2 days. But normally they would send those gowns to India, which takes 2 or 3 weeks, and bring it back. Oscar de Lorenzo asked me personally to sit there, and I did that and beat that gown. He sent it to DC in pieces. Then DC, they put the gown together. Laura Bush wore that gown. I have that picture on my computer.
Wow. Amazing. We gotta get more into David Ultima. Definitely when you think. What are some old school memorable moments that you had in the ballroom scene?
Well, I always lived when I used to see Paris do her own thing. I remember one time there used to be a ballroom on 43rd Street in between 5th and 6th Avenue. You remember the club called Sweats? Right. There was a ballroom down there. And I remember when Paris came and she did Marie Antoinette. And she actually had like 7 or 8 wigs on top of her head, but she came in and had the building come down and chop it off. I mean, that's how the kids would come out. And Paris also one time at the Crystal Ballroom, she came in a Louis Vuitton trunk, and when they opened up the trunk, she rolled out in a gown. I mean, there's so many scenes that I've seen that was incredible. Dory and Corey and coming out in these feathers, beads, and rhinestones. I mean, amazing stuff. Now, my iconic, one of the things that I was proud of as an extravaganza was watching my baby, Jose, teach Madonna to do the Vogue, and that's how the Vogue video came out. I actually went to California when it came out. I met Warren Beatty and Madonna when they was introducing that Vogue thing, and I was so proud of him doing that. That was the first foreign kid to ever do something like that.
Oh my God, that is an amazing, iconic experience. And that is.
And mind you, you know how she met Jose?
How did
You're gonna guess.
Yes, tell me the story.
She used to come to the Paradise Garage and hang out.
Yes, the legendary
and she got very
Paradise Garage.
Yes, and she got very. What is that dance? I must know it. And she came up to Jose. What is that dance? And he said it's called Vogue. And that's how she met Jose. She said, you know what? You're going to teach me that. And that's when the video came out, Vogue. She was at the Paradise Garage watching us. Paradise Garage, and another club was the club on 27th Street.
Was it Tunnel? Planet 28?
Not the tunnel, across the street from the tunnel. Not the Octagon. The Octagon was on 33rd Street. We're talking, what was that place? Come on, David, get your memory together. Okay. Sound Factory.
Factoria. Yes.
On 27th Street. The Donnie's hanging out in Sound Factory in Paradise Garage.
Wow, amazing. What was different about this club than the others?
Which one?
Sound Factory.
Okay, Sound Factory and Paradise Garage, these were clubs that we would go to at 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and you wouldn't get out till like 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The major clubs that would party all night long with Junior Vasquez and Larry Levan, with the DJs of all DJs, strictly house music.
Shout out to Junior Vasquez. By the way,
yes.
when Madonna calls, tell her that I'm here.
So, I have a question.
And you know, Junior Vasquez and Extravaganza.
Yes.
Yes. So, I have a question. If you could take anything from the new school ballroom scene and take it in...
I can't hear you, say it again.
If you could take anything from the new school ballroom scene and mix it with the old school ballroom scene, what would you take?
If I could take something from the new ballroom scene and do what?
If you can take something from the new ballroom scene and the old ballroom scene and mix it together, what would be your mixture?
I mean, it's really the only thing that I can take right now would be Femme Queen Face. Because Femme Queen Face was something you still see today, and it was also generated back in the days. The beauties was different. The beauties today are different from the beauties back in the days, but those are one of the two categories that you still see today, where the girls would come out and carry. It's all about beauty. It's all about looking beautiful. Those are one category. I can't say Femme Queen Ball because Femme Queen Ball was different. Femme Queen Ball was very soft, very easy back in the day. Today, the girls are jumping off of high benches and, you know, looking hard and rocking. That's not Femme Queen Ball. Femme Queen Ball used the girls to be soft. You are representing a woman. Today's girls are just jumping off of balconies and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're not representing it. So I want this to look like bitches in high heels.
And I'm like, stop, because you're going to hurt yourself.
I mean, I'm not knocking them because it's new and it's hot and it's fabulous. But when it comes to something that you represent from last year's to now, you cannot do nothing when it comes to face. Face is face. You cannot do anything about being a beauty. A beauty back in those days, but the beauties today, there's nothing you can do. You're just a beauty.
I know all about beauty.
We're getting ready to get close to the end of the interview, David, but I have one more question before I thank you. Where do you think the ballroom cultural movement is evolving today?
Well, what's happening today, it's very commercialized. It's about making money. It's not even the beauty and all the stuff that you used to see back in the day. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, all that sewing and creativity is like gone out the window. It's more of a commercialized thing. Like you have a book screen category that might last 3 or 4 hours because there's so many of them working, which is not bad. I love to see that. I love to see the kids come out and do their thing. I'm not knocking it at all. I actually admire it. When I go see these kids come out and do their thing, I get my life because it brings back memories of what it used to be back in the days. But it's like the beauty and all that stuff is on, because I'm planning on doing the return of the snowball in January or February of next year, and my grand prize is going to be Las Vegas Showgirl, because I want to see headpiece, I want to see breastpiece. Like when you decide to do your ball, you're planning to do your own thing, whether, instead of these lines. So let's hope somebody will come and, bring it. And, when we finish this category, I'm going to help you to show you how they're going to bring it, because it's something that you need to do to make these kids come.
Yes, I appreciate it, David. I really do. This is going to be a long ball, and I was thinking maybe where we could break it up into segments and pieces. I don't know. We're still developing it. We'll talk. We'll definitely talk, because
yeah, definitely. In order for you to make that category major, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to tell you over the phone, but when you sit down in person, how you can make it to make these people come and bring it, because that's not what I'm going to do. And when I do my boy, I want those kids. I want to see these studies. I want to see these rhymes studies. I want to see the beats back to the old days like to do. It's going to be hard because the kids don't do that. But if you do the right thing and take a little advice from me, you're going to make those children good.
Yes, and that's what I do. But you know what? I want to thank you so much, David. Ultimately,
I'm so honored talking to you. I'm glad you got the mystery. You got creative, and I'm looking forward to working with you on the next issue of your magazine. And I promise you, it's going to be hot.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're so great. I am so honored to have you on the show.
You don't know those girls that be in the club and think.
Well, I would love to do this again, and let's talk and make it even harder the next time, and hopefully the information I gave you was helpful.
Oh, definitely. It definitely was. I also want to give a shout out real quick to everybody who's tuned in tonight. This is a wonderful experience to have David Ultima in the house, and this is actually one of the classic, iconic episodes. So
yes,
I want to give a shout out to you for that.
And I am so glad that I can be back for this episode too.
Yes, don't forget, Naughty Bastard is also back on the air. David, we have to get together, so I'm gonna.
Yes, definitely. Let's get together because I want to make that next issue major.
Trust.
Of course.
We're going
to make it so hot that it's going to be like the magazine that the kids are going to get.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and we're going to talk again soon, and let's make this happen. Let's make this a part of history.
Definitely. Don't forget,
okay, baby.
It's your boy Izzy Infinity. You're tuned into BallroomSceneRadio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation. Call us up 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. And we'll see you next week.
And don't forget the live birthday is back.
What's up? This is your girl, L Infinity. Don't forget the morning tea is coming up next on the Morning Kiki.
Was that wonderful or what? The iconic David Ultima. Yes, there you have it. BallroomSceneRadio.com, the hottest station on the internet nation.
Hey everyone, this is Pioneer Lifetime Achiever Icon Kevin Omni, and you are now tuned in to the Everyday Party Network. Ballroom Scene Radio.com.
Shout outs, House of Infinity, House of Ninja, the Ultra Omnis, Lavinjas, Latex, Christian Dior's, Ebony's, Moschino's, Revlon's, Allure, Saint Laurent Extravaganzas, Milan Eccentrica, Mugler, Evisu, Stars. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to say goodbye. We will see you next Monday. I have another special guest for y'all, but I'm not going to spill tea. I'm going to be posting it up on Facebook, alright? Don't forget, BallroomSceneRadio.com is the hottest station on the Internet Nation. We are the Ballroom. Also, don't forget, hit us up on Twitter, Ballroom Radio, or hit us up, find us on Facebook, /Ballroom Scene Radio. Also, want to give a shout out to LGBT Records, Starstruck Records in the building. Want to give a shout out to Dr. Shoutouts, he's doing his thing. Don't forget, Radio Naughty will be launching this fall on the EPN. It's going to be oozing over. We have a new program, new shows, coming bigger, better, and stronger. Don't you ever forget it. From the legendary House of Infinity, it's your boy Izzy, Stars, Infinity, and you're tuned into the hottest station on the Internet Nation, BallroomSceneRadio.com. Y'all heard? Want to give a shout out to the House of Ninja. Special shout out to Danny Stretch Ninja, Ruby Ninja, Ruby Storm Ninja, yes. My board of directors, Angel Milan, Dale Infinity, Power Infinity. Want to give a shout out to JoJo Infinity, Florida chapter, doing his thing. I'm sorry. Iconic JoJo Ebony. Also, I want to give a very great special shout out to Sierra, Ms. Rahi, mother. I'm definitely trying to get you on the show. Want hugs and kisses, I'll send it to you on Miami's. Also, want to give a special shout out to Jack, Ms. Rahi, turning it up. Jack, Ms. Rahi. It's always serving. Also, I got coming soon the Ultra Omnis and the 35th annual Ultra Omni Ball. Stay tuned for that. Also, I heard some tea about the Red Era. I want to give a shout out to the Red Era, the legends in New York City. We're going to have some tea about that. Once again, it's your boy Izzy Infinity. You're tuned into BallroomSceneRadio.com, the hottest station on the Internet Nation. 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. It's time to say goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next Monday. Same time, same network, all day, every day. Holla at your boy.
The naughty bastard himself up. N to the A to the U to the D to the H to the T to the Y. Naughty boy, little naughty boy, work. M to the O to the R to the N to the I to the N to the G. Morning boy. Queens, how it be? Get tense or chop.
Ballroom Scene Radio is brought to you by Ballroom Scene Network, EPN, Everyday Party Network.